Hey there, welcome to another episode of English with Eve, where we combine learning English with some practical life skills. Today we're diving into money tips, specifically how we can all be smarter with it. All right, so let's break it down, step by step. First off, let's talk about three super important words: budget, SAR, invest, and income. A budget, for example, is just a plan for how you're going to spend your money. I like to think of it as, well, a map. A clear way to figure out where your money goes. Then we have invest. This one's about putting money somewhere, like in a savings account, where it can grow and bring you more money later. And lastly, income. That's the money you earn from working or other sources. It's like the fuel for all your financial moves. Now, here's the thing, and I'm speaking from experience, it's important to live within your means. This simply means, spending less than you earn. So let's say you make $2,000 a month. If you're spending $2,500 and $100 a month using credit cards, we've got a problem. Hoo boy, have we got a problem, right? One way to avoid that is by tracking your expenses. That's basically writing down or using an app to track every little thing you spend. Trust me, it's pretty eye-opening to see how much goes into coffee runs or, those random little online shopping splurges. And if you have debt, the key is to tackle it head on, little by little, no shame. Many people, myself included, have been there. So you're definitely not alone. Okay, real quick personal story here. When I was traveling and teaching abroad, long before this podcast, I was on a pretty tight budget, like seriously tight. I had to figure out ways to save while still making the most of my experience. What helped? Mindset shifts. Like instead of eating out all the time, which would have been tempting, I cooked at my little apartment. I made it fun, like experimenting with local recipes, And, sometimes it meant saying no to group activities I couldn't afford. But here's the thing. It taught me discipline. It made me feel like I was in control, which was actually super empowering. And now I don't even think twice about saving as much as I can. But it all starts with those small shifts in how you think about money. All right, so quick recap. Budget is your money map. Track those expenses, live within your means, and don't be afraid to tackle debt. It's all about building healthy financial habits, one step at a time. Okay, let's get practical. Financial goals, they're like your personal road signs on the money highway. They help direct where you want your money to go and why it's important to start small. Here's an example. Instead of saying, I need to save more money, try something like, I intend to save $50 this month. See what I did there? It's specific, it's clear, and you can actually measure it. Now, why is starting small so powerful? Well, think about this. Saving just $25 every month may not feel like a big deal at first, but over a year, that's $300. Over 10 years, assuming reasonable growth, thanks to investing, it can turn into way more. Small but consistent steps really do create big results. Let's bring in another phrase you can use. My goal is to invest small amounts regularly. This is such a useful one, not just for improving your English, but also for staying motivated when the going gets tough. Regular investing means you don't wait for the perfect moment, because honestly, there never is one. You just go for it, even if it's just $25 or $50 at a time. Here's a real-life example to put this into context. There was a story about someone who started investing $25 a month at 18 and ended up with nearly $400,000 by retirement. Wild, right? What I love about this is how achievable it feels. It's a good reminder that small, steady actions are worth every penny, literally, but make sure to automate it, Automation takes the thinking out of it. It's like setting up autopay for your bills. Once you tell your bank or investment app to stash away that $25 or $50, you won't miss it. And hey, any little hurdle to saving just disappears. Also remember to write down your goals. Something like, I will save $600 this year for emergencies. Being clear about your why makes it easier to stick to the plan. And by the way, even if you slip up, it's not the end of the world. It's the process of trying, adjusting, and staying consistent that matters most. All right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about something super common: lifestyle inflation. You know what I mean. It's when, as your income grows, your spending seems to magically grow with it. New paycheck, new expenses, right? Here's the thing, though. If you fall into this trap, it becomes really hard to build wealth in the long run. I mean, imagine making double what you do now, but constantly feeling broke because, well, you've doubled your spending too. Not fun. So, what's the solution? Trying, like really trying, not to let your lifestyle chase your income. Instead, think about maintaining the same modest lifestyle, even when you start earning more. Because honestly, that extra income could do wonders if you invest it. And hey, I get it. It's tempting to splurge, especially when you've worked hard. But, maybe challenge yourself to save a chunk of every raise you get. It's a move you won't regret. Trust me. Now, here's the next part, financial literacy. I can't stress this enough. And it's a game changer. Learning the basics about personal finance and investing doesn't just help you save. It helps you really grow your money. You might feel like it's overwhelming at first, but seriously, start small. Pick up a book or watch a few beginner videos. Once you get the hang of terms like compound interest or index funds, you'll feel more confident. And I mean, it's kind of crazy how much of a difference a little knowledge makes. Like, how many people do you think miss out on free money in their 401k plan just because they don't know how it works? The more you learn, the easier it becomes to make decisions that actually help you build wealth. Long term, not just in the moment. Okay, so here's your takeaway. Avoid falling into lifestyle inflation and invest the effort into learning about your finances. Both of these work together to keep you on track toward your big money goals. All right, let's get into something that's absolutely key when you're trying to build wealth, no matter your income level. The right mindset, and trust me, this mindset stuff is huge. It's kind of like planting a seed, right? You gotta water it, give it sunlight, and wait patiently while it grows. No rushing. Patience and discipline? Oh, they're your besties here. I mean, think about it. How often do we want to see instant results? Like you invest a little money or make a smart choice, and boom, you're a millionaire in a month. But life doesn't work that way. Wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. And honestly, that's okay. It's all about building those healthy habits little by little. Let's take discipline for a second. If you're sticking to smart financial choices now, limiting unnecessary expenses, saving consistently, and keeping your focus, think about how that compounds over time. Every little choice you make now pays off big later. It's not flashy, I know, but it works. And hey, it also helps you feel more in control, which is honestly so empowering, don't you think? And speaking of control, here's another pro move. Surround yourself with people who are financially smart or already where you want to be. Ever heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? It's true. If you're hanging out with folks who've got strong financial habits, you pick up on that energy. And hey, many successful people love sharing advice. They've been where you are, so they get it. Don't be afraid to ask questions or seek mentorship. It's honestly one of the smartest things you can do. One quick story to tie this in. I remember Katie, who had the habit of investing a small part of her income every month, no matter what. And I'm talking small amounts, like $20 or $50. Over time, she built a substantial portfolio just from doing this consistently. When I asked what the secret was, she said, discipline and the right people around me. I mean, wow, right? It's so simple but so effective. So, your takeaway? Building wealth isn't about hitting the jackpot or making wild risks. It's about patience, discipline, and the connections you cultivate along the way. Small steps, done consistently, could lead to some life-changing results. It's all about setting yourself up for success. All right, friends, let's wrap this up with some real-life inspiration, because nothing gets the wheels turning like seeing how others made it work, right? So I want to share a couple of stories that really stand out to me. First up, we've got an amazing story about a teacher, someone like many of us, who earned a pretty modest salary. Maria, instead of letting her paycheck limit her, she used her evenings to create online courses for teachers like herself. At first, it was just a side hustle, but she did it consistently, staying focused and regularly reinvesting those extra earnings into her retirement account. Over the years, Maria not only built extra income, but also a sense of freedom knowing her future was secure, consistently and regularly. 2 key words here, right? Next, meet James, a mechanic who, for years, was living paycheck to paycheck. One day, he decided to turn his passion for woodworking into a weekend gig. He started small, selling cutting boards at local markets. Like, how cool is that? Over time, James set aside a percentage of his side hustle income to invest in a high-yield savings account and even dabbled in beginner-friendly stocks. Fast forward 10 years, and James is now teaching workshops in addition to managing financial investments he never thought he'd have. It's wild what focus and a little creativity can do, isn't it? Now, let's start crafting your own strategy. I want you to imagine a conversation around saving money with a friend. Ready? I'll go first, and then it's your turn to fill in the blanks later. I might say, hey, what strategies do you use to save money each month? And maybe they respond, I automatically transfer $50 into a savings account as soon as I get paid. Then I might add, that's awesome. I'm thinking about starting with $25 and building up from there. See? Simple, practical, and you're already practicing useful phrases. Your language practice takeaway is this. Use words like consistently, regularly, en tasse, and investing when discussing habits with others. For example, I regularly put aside part of my paycheck for my long-term goals. These are powerful words, and honestly, they're key to both better English and better finances. Look, no matter where you're starting from, the stories of Maria and James prove that it's possible to turn even a low salary into wealth, with patience, with focus, and with consistent action. If they can do it, so can you. On that note, we're wrapping up today's podcast. It's been amazing chatting with you all about these super important money strategies. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in your potential. Until next time, take care and stay focused on saving money.